If the how-to was the problem, then the internet would have solved everyone's issues. A single book would solve all your issues. But if you're not focused and you're not consistent and you're not applying things with leverage, then you're just going to keep consuming another course. It must be a different kangaroo drawing video that I need to watch.
Hey, welcome to the Agency Hour podcast, where we help digital agency owners build real abundance for themselves, their teams, and their communities. And that is not something that ChatGPT told me to say, by the way. This week, we're taking an honest look at your team and asking some tough questions. Are you unknowingly teaching your team to lose? Oh, that's a big question. I'm joined by Simon Kelly, CEO and Head of Growth at Seriously Good Design, for a conversation that cuts through the fluff and gets to the heart of what makes a team thrive. We'll explore why most job ads fall flat, how to use AI without over-prompting it to build your ideal team member profile, and what really drives autonomy and connection inside high-performing agencies. We also dive deep into my shifting views on ChatGPT, how to stand out in a crowded service space, and why shared beliefs, not just shared goals, are the real glue that holds great teams together. I'm Troy Dean. Stay with us. I'm just going to start mid-sentence again, like I usually do, right? I had dinner. Do you remember Nick, who has spoken at a bunch of Dave Jennings' events?
Nick Thackerall?
Nick Thickelal.
Yeah.
Nickish Thickelal. Nick, we call him Mr. X. He's like one of the smartest dudes I know. And we were having dinner on Tuesday night in Sydney. I was up there talking at the Go High Level SaaSpreneur event. I've got a lanyard around my neck to prove it.
Ooh.
And I went out for dinner with him on Monday night. And we had the most amazing Thai food in Sydney, but I ate way too much of it and I haven't eaten since. And anyway, we're talking about AI, and I've played with Claude a bit in the past. I'm kind of all in on ChatGPT and having custom GPTs and open AI and stuff. He's like, oh, dude, you gotta try Claude again. So I've been trying Claude in the last 24 hours. My God, it is incredible. So this morning, I had to do a presentation around ideal client profile. So I had two prompts into Claude. The first one was, and I'm not going to go deep on this because we're going to talk about team, but this is my thinking on this, right? People are like way over prompting AI. Two prompts. First one, help me develop an ideal client profile for my business. And then Claude asked me a bunch of questions. Just asked me a bunch of questions. You know, we were talking a couple of weeks ago and you were like the fucking framework where you're like context and act as if you are and interview me one question
just like one prompt.
All that bullshit, man. Help me develop an ideal client profile for my business. But we know what ChatGPT would do. It'd just start trying to be super helpful.
Yeah,
right?
There you go.
Well, your ideal client. Claude was like, well, I'll help you create a comprehensive ideal client profile. Let me start by understanding your business better. Could you tell me what type of business do you run? What's your main offering? Here's the killer question. Do you have existing clients you particularly enjoy working with or who bring you the most success?
These are the kind of questions that we would ask people in coaching conversations.
Correct. While you're thinking about this, here's the framework we'll use to build your ideal client profile. Then it goes through demographics and firmographics, word I was not familiar with. Then it goes through psychographics and behavior, pain points and goals, qualifying characteristics. Anyway, turns out the thing ends up designing, it writes this incredible ideal client profile. Then I answered the questions. Prompt 2, this is perfect. Can you design this into an ICP card I can share with my team and include a picture of strategic Sarah, which it came up with? So then HTML and CSS, it designs me this card that I took a screenshot of and shared with the team. And I'm like, holy hell, like who needs a designer? Do you know what I mean?
How would you rate the accuracy? Are you like two prompts?
Dude,
and
150%.
What?
Like
Amazing.
So let me a couple of key insights that I got, right? One is it talked about, so the pain points of our ideal client, feast and famine, which we know, it calls it the revenue roller coaster, which we know, right? Project-based income dependency, which we know. I didn't prompt it. I didn't tell it. All I said is that we work with, it said, what kind of business do you have and what do you do, right? And so I said, I run a coaching and mentoring business for digital agency owners. Our main offer is a 4-month one-on-one coaching program where we help digital agency owners grow their recurring revenue by teaching them how to sell and deliver paid discovery workshops, also known as digital roadmaps, and then upgrade those clients into growth plans, also known as retainers. Our best clients have a very positive and abundant mindset, take massive imperfect action, are coachable, have at least one team member who can help them implement and are already consistently generating 20K a month in revenue and are probably called Simon. Okay, maybe I didn't say that bit about Simon. Anyway, it's determined that Strategic Sarah is our ideal client, and that the pain points are revenue roller coaster, feast and famine, project-based income dependency, clients see them as order takers, scope creep and boundary issues. Anyone ever get an email after hours and the client expects you to email back?
Or you expect yourself to email back as well. That's
right. There you go. That's right. Can't scale beyond personal capacity. Right. Now, here's also, how about this? Red flags, scarcity mindset or blame mentality. Solo operator with no team. Revenue consistently below 15 grand a month. Price shopping behavior, resistant to change.
I mean, this is even for the sales team to be like, well,
Correct.
qualify based on this. This is solid.
100%.
Wow.
100%. And so this is
not trained on any of your data.
Not trained on any of our data. Not trained at all. Custom GPT, blow it out your ass. Nothing. No knowledge base here. No training. Zero zip. I've never used Claude before to talk about my business. I've only ever used it before to give me interesting chord progressions for my jazz funk guitar playing, right? Never told it about my business before at all, except this morning. And then it designed this thing, which is just gorgeous. And, and it also then gives me insights, like a few key insights from your description that I've expanded on. The coachable factor is crucial. I've emphasized mindset and attitude indicators that signal someone who will be receptive to coaching. Right? And then it named it Strategic Sarah. And and then I said, can I have this as a PDF? Now, you know what ChatGPT
Can I
would have
hire
done?
you as sales team, please?
Well, ChatGPT, so here's the reason I'm using Claude. I've been getting pushback and massive hallucinations from ChatGPT recently, right? If I'd said to ChatGPT, can you make me a PDF? It'd give me a link. It's, oh, sure, here's your PDF. And it'll give me a link and I'd click on it. It would go to a 404, right? I'm sorry, that page doesn't exist. I've asked ChatGPT several times recently, you can't create Canva templates, can you? No, I can't, but I was trying to be helpful. But here's how I would do it if I could. But it gives you a Canva link that's a 404 or a Google Doc link that goes nowhere.
Here's the link if there was one.
Right, correct. So what I've learned about ChatGPT, in this interesting phase where ChatGPT is sacrificing honesty in order to be seen as helpful. Now, it also I think ChatGPT knows that it's only moments away from it being able to create a Google Doc or a Canva template. So it's anticipating that, right? Well, here we go. I know you want a Google Doc, so here's a Google Doc, even though it's a 404. Claude said, I can't directly generate a PDF file, but I can give you a couple of easy ways to convert the ICP card to a PDF. You can print it to a PDF using your, if you're on a Mac, go save as PDF. It then says, if you're on a non-Mac, I'm sorry, your life is so horrible and you should move to a Mac. Okay, it doesn't say that. Method 2 is browser save. Most modern browsers also have a save as PDF option. Method 3, use a screenshot tool and take a screenshot of the card that I've already designed for you. Right?
It's just spoon-feeding everything. It's just good to go.
Absolutely blown away.
So you learned this on Tuesday. You applied it on Thursday live in a workshop, reducing the time of everyone on the workshop that will take to put together their ICP and improving your existing one.
Gave them 2 prompts. And now here's now I know we're going to talk about team, but I do want to do a deep dive on this later on another episode. But where this is how I think you can use this for team, right? Is what I've learned in this very short exercise this morning is our messaging is still too generic, right? Oh, we help digital agency owners grow their recurring revenue. So does everybody. Do you know what I mean? Because you know what an agency owner really wants? They want to join a one-on-one mentoring program and they want to watch their recurring revenue tank, right? Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to join a program and watch their recurring revenue dive. Of course, we're going to help you grow your recurring revenue. So is everybody else on every street corner. So we need to get way more specific about who we do our best work with. And if you think you know everything, then we are not the droids you're looking for, right? And so being coachable being a massive action taker, having humility. I remember like Simon Major joined our program. He's already at 1.2 million a year in revenue. And he's like, I'm putty in your hands. Tell me what to do next. Right? What a great mindset. He knows that he's above his pay scale. He's like, I have fucking no idea how we got this far. It's a miracle we're this far. Like, I've been winging it. Now I need someone to give me some structure. Most people, if they get anywhere above 100 grand in revenue, they think their shit don't stink and they think that they've figured it all out, right? So being coachable is a massive piece of our ideal client. And if you think about your ideal team member, so the question I love that Claude asked is, do you have existing clients you particularly enjoy working with or who bring you the most success? And that's why I said they're coachable, they take massive imperfect action, right? It also says, what else I say? It says something about like they turn up on time to coaching calls, right? Like the initial description that I got before it turned it into a pretty card, the initial description that it gave me was that, here we go. The leadership style of our ideal client is someone who delegates effectively and trusts their team, thinks strategically about business growth, not just day-to-day operations, right? Their personal qualifying characteristics, right? Time to participate fully in a coaching program, existing client base that could potentially be upgraded. These are the perfect clients for us. Willing to follow proven systems rather than reinventing the wheel, right? Responsive and punctual for scheduled calls, prepared and engaged during coaching sessions, right? So I think you should answer this question about your ideal team member. If you've got any more than 3 staff, there's one team member apart from yourself. You got you plus 3. There's one out of those 3 that you just want to replicate, right? So who is it? Who is it? And what are the characteristics about that person that you want to replicate? And if you run it through an exercise like this and you come up with an ideal team member profile, your job ads just wrote themselves, right? Because now what you're going to do is say, if this is you, and you also give Claude or whatever tool you're using, but I would just suggest Claude, any information about your business, and it will position your business as somewhere good to come and work, as a great opportunity for the right candidate. But then your job ad is just, if this is you and you're looking for this type of place to work, we're a great fit. Because most job ads suck for the same reason that most marketing messages suck. And that is because most marketing messages start out with, look at me, here's what I've got, and here's how good my vacuum cleaner sucks, right? And at that point, I don't give a shit about your vacuum cleaner because there's nothing in it for me, right? Your message should start off with, do you have kids with allergies? And your lounge and couch and carpet is full of dust that you can't even see and it's causing your kids damage and it's invisible? Yes. Great. Now I've got your attention. And so the same with a job ad. A job ad should talk to your ideal candidate about them and their journey, not about how great you and your company are.
Yeah,
Right?
big time. It's like the problem, it sounded like you're like describing what the actual issue is in their terms. Like, so they're going, yes, yes, and they're leaning in, as opposed to like, cool, another description about another company that I have no idea about.
Correct.
I don't want you to tell me more because I'm already bored.
And mate, I can tell you, I've been in the line and I've been in the queue waiting for a takeaway coffee at enough cafes and overheard enough conversations with people in their, age 27 to 40, talking about how disenfranchised they are in their current career. And not one of those conversations is about money. Every single one of those conversations that I've overheard is usually about the lack of growth in the role or the company that person is currently working at, right? They just feel like there's no opportunity for me to develop and grow as a person, and that's why they're looking for another opportunity. Oh, I've applied for this job and blah, blah. No, I've never heard someone saying, oh, I've applied for another job because I want more money.
Mm-hmm.
Money is like probably the least, it's a factor, but it's the least influential factor, right? I think we've spoken about this. The most influential factor is a cause that they believe in, a leader they respect, and then money. And if you think about the cause, a cause your team and the culture can very quickly become the cause that they care about. That sense of belonging to a professional family environment, right?
Yeah. There was something I was reading in the book Indistractable, and it was talking about building indistractable teams or something like that. And it was saying autonomy is really important, like a sense of ownership over your own work, a sense of connection, like connection to the team, to the cause, to each other, as and the leader there respects. I think there were the three things as like it's essential for a team that wants to work together and individuals that thrive. It's not just the paycheck. So where is that in the job description? That's not about the company. That's not like, here's what we do and who we are and what we say our values are.
That's right. That's right. Because the reality is, listen, in a service-based business, I don't give a shit how many fucking books you've read on the $100 million offer and all that crap. In a service-based business, at the end of the day, we are all doing the same shit, right? You are building websites, you are reconciling people's books, you are lodging their tax returns, you're putting together a financial plan, you're helping them get divorced and get the maximum settlement and maintain their integrity. You are helping them navigate, their career trajectory. You're doing SEO, whatever the services you're providing, it's the same. There is no difference, really. I believe there's very little difference between an agency here in Melbourne that does SEO,
Yeah.
that does SEO for allied health professionals versus any other agency on the planet that does SEO for allied health professionals. If they're good at what they do, then they're all the fucking same, right? The only thing that's different, like if there are other agency mentoring companies and other agency coaching companies on the planet that actually deliver results for their clients, then we are all the same. The only thing that changes is the frameworks we use and the energy and the personalities that make up the company. Now, so I know that some people think I'm a goofball and they don't like me. I've seen the comments about my various haircuts over the years. I've got an Australian accent. They think I'm a game show host. I think I'm old. That's fine. I don't care. Go and play with someone younger with better hair, whatever, and a different accent. I don't give a shit, right? The point I'm trying to make is that it's very difficult to differentiate yourself as a service provider apart from the culture and how much your team actually cares about your clients. That, I think, is the true differentiator, right? And so I think you should lead with that when you start attracting talent to come and work. It's like, sure, we've got our own frameworks, and we've got our own tech, and we've got our own way of doing things, but at the end of the day, we're a digital marketing agency, right? And why are we different? Well, we might not be different, but if you were happy with your current digital marketing agency, you wouldn't be on our website. So maybe we should just have a chat.
Yeah, it's still a commodity. It's still the same stuff everywhere. Like, it's not
Correct.
like, oh, what's this? SEO. What's this website thing? Like, I have no idea what that is. It's the same thing. So it's like, with all things being equal, like, it's the team working together. It's the culture. It's how much they actually give two shits.
Russell Brunson called them funnels because, he was in a mastermind with Dan Kennedy, who was teaching him how to do direct response copy. And one of Dan Kennedy's things is that you got to, like, the best way to own a category is to invent it. And at the time, this is how fucking ridiculous things are, right? Now, it's worked very well for Russell. Don't get me wrong. He's made a lot of money, but this is how ridiculous it is. And this is how people fall for it so quickly. Is at the time, the competitor was Lead Pages or Unbounce. And I remember being frustrated with Lead Pages and Unbounce because I couldn't keep my pages organized. They didn't even have folders. So Russell comes along and says, let's put them in folders, but let's not call them folders. Let's call them funnels, right? And then the only place you can get a funnel, and we all knew that funnels worked, we just weren't calling them funnels. There was just a series of pages, an opt-in page, a thank you page, an upsell page, whatever, right? And he put them in a folder and called it a funnel, and gangbusters, right? Scaled to $8 million a month in recurring revenue. Then High Level started to kick his ass, and you could import funnels directly into High Level from ClickFunnels URL. And so he changed the name and called them directional websites and tried to trademark directional websites and tried to sue High Level. Now, I don't know how that played out, but this is how fucking ridiculous the the unique mechanism is, right? The unique mechanism. It's a directional website. What the fuck is a directional website?
It's not
Right?
as
If you're going
catchy
to
as
try and
funnels, that's for
trademark a
sure.
directional website, you have to sue everyone that's ever made a contact form page ever, because they've used a contact page with a thank you page. That's a directional website, right? Like, this is how ridiculous the unique mechanism bullshit thing has become, right? And it's because people are trying to trademark intellectual property where there is no intellectual property.
I'm
Right?
going to start
If you're a
trademarking
service,
the word service and see how that goes
right,
down. Yeah.
right. If you're or a website,
Yeah.
or CRO. I mean, it's all the same shit. The thing that is different is the energy and the culture of the people. It's like football, man. Like, why do some teams win? And then look at the Melbourne Football Club that my wife's a fan of and has been a member of her whole life. And I'm pretty much a Melbourne supporter these days, even though I'm from Adelaide and I'm a Crows supporter. But Melbourne Football Club were fined for tanking, right? Because just think about this for a second. The way that the AFL draft works is that if you finish bottom, you get the first draft pick the following year, because the AFL says, well, you need better players, so you get the first pick of the best next year, right? So when Melbourne realised under I think it was Dean, can't remember his last name, who was their coach, when they realised that they couldn't win, they tanked. They deliberately lost games. Now, they will deny, but they were fined for deliberately losing games by a big margin to finish bottom so they could get the first draft pick the following year, right? Absolutely disgraceful behaviour. But you can understand it, right? It makes sense why they would do that. They went from that to winning a grand final in less than 10 years. Now, 10 years sounds like a long time, but to go from they didn't know how to win. They were taught how to lose. The whole culture of the Melbourne Football Club was how to lose games by the biggest possible margin without it being obvious.
I mean, if that's in your
Right?
DNA as a team, that'd be hard to
Right.
shake.
Right. So now a lot of those players went on to win a grand final. Right? Now, so what's the difference? At the end of the day, they're playing the same sport. They're kicking a ball around and trying to get it through two big sticks, and they're playing the same teams that they were playing 10 years ago, right? What changed? What changed?
It's what they want. It's the team. It's not the team individuals, but it's what they actually give a shit about.
It's their shared beliefs, right? Paul Roos was the guy who taught them that they could win. He changed their belief, and then Simon Goodwin came in and stole the glory, and good on him, and he's a great coach. But Paul Roos did an enormous amount of work turning that team around from a team that were taught how to lose to a team that won a grand final. They kicked 16 of the last 17 goals in that grand final against the Bulldogs. It was an absolute master. I remember watching it just in absolute shock. It was an absolute masterclass in how to turn a game around from a team that were taught how to lose. The only thing that changed, sure, they had a few extra players, but the only thing that changed wasn't the sport, it wasn't the commodity, it wasn't the rules. The only thing that changed was their belief. That's the only thing that changed, right? And as a marketer, and if you're hiring staff, you are marketing your business to talent. And as a marketer, your job, our job, is to change the beliefs of our audience so that they are in alignment with our beliefs. Right? And that's why people buy from us, because they trust us and they believe the same things that we believe. That's why every agency's the same. What's different is what we believe, and attracting clients who have the same beliefs, and attracting talent and staff who have the same beliefs.
So there's a couple of people in our team who are like our ideal, which is good. That makes sense. That we've got people who we think are like, yep, we want to clone these guys. And our Google Ads guy, Nico, I was talking to him the other day because I was doing a bit of coaching with him. And he was talking about like his work, because he works with other clients too. He was talking about like how important it is for him to be as if he's world class at what he does. He's like, I don't have a big agency. I don't have, thousands of clients or anything. But he's like, if I'm going to work on a campaign, he's like, I just want to be like the best, one of the best. I just want to be world class at this. And I was like, like he's doing the same thing. We've worked with lots of LinkedIn ads companies, lots of freelancers, Google ads people. But at the exact same time, we had someone else who was running some ads who definitely did not think that. Not at all. And the results showed. It was like the same thing that they're doing, but the results showed, the way the energy that they brought to things, how they would speak to clients. And you could try, oh my God, and we did try in some way to coach those little bits. Oh, why do they do that? Oh, that thing's really cool. But it wasn't the bits. It was the overarching belief. I want to be world class at this. And then everything else, all the decisions, all the actions, everything else filters down. And we're like, oh, I like how he sets up his Google documents to share to clients, whatever it might be. I like how he communicates. I'm not going to try and clone that. It'll take forever. But what about that belief?
That's right. This is why when agencies come to us and they're like, oh, I just want a library of SOPs to run my agency, right? Okay, great. You want to fucking slow down for 3 months and just get bogged down in admin for 3 months and get nothing done? Here's my library of SOPs, because that's what it's going to do. My SOPs aren't going to work for you. His SOPs aren't going to work for you. Her SOPs, as beautiful and as color-coded as they are in Airtable, are not going to work for you, because her SOPs come from her set of beliefs and her team and the way they do business, right? And you're going to have to reverse engineer every one of those SOPs to make them fit your team and your culture and your clients and your beliefs. Don't do it. Just get your team to document the SOPs. And if you're micromanaging the way people do things, oh, well, usually what I do is I do the thing first and then I edit it and then I proofread it and then I publish it. And you've just published that and it's got some spelling errors in it. So let me have a look at your process. You're having the wrong conversation, right? The conversation should be, how do you feel about what you just published? Are you proud of what you just published?
Is this your best work?
Is this your best work?
Not in a like, is this your best work, mate? But not like that. But like, honestly, before I even look at it, like, is this your best work doing this?
Is this your best work?
It is.
Because if I find a fucking spelling mistake in it, right?
Yeah.
Right? There's no excuse for spelling mistakes. There's no excuse for, it's not your best work. Now,
I wouldn't even
you
know
could be
if it
overwhelmed.
was a spelling mistake, thankfully. So I wouldn't even get into that detail. If there was, I'd have no idea.
Right. So,
which is good.
because and we've spoken about this for so many years, like the belief informs the behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was that stupid acronym we came up with? Lieutenant Bar, right? Language, thought, behavior, actions, results.
Beliefs, action, results. Yeah.
Belief, actions, results.
And
Belief,
they influence each other, because your action. So just as you were saying there, like your beliefs influence your behavior. We were just staying with B&B. Your behavior also influences your beliefs. In the case of building evidence to support that belief.
Correct.
So I am world class at this. If you don't do anything about that, then it's very hard to see the evidence that you are actually world fucking class at this.
That's right.
So go and be as if, like, take the actions to show, and then it reinforces. Yeah, fucking oath. Look what I just did there. World class. If you're like, I'm shit at this, and then you will go out to prove that you are indeed shit at
this.
That's
right. Well, this is what happens. And 99% of the time, that's what people do instead of the opposite, right? 99% of the time, people think they're shit at something. So they do something, they sabotage it subconsciously. In fact, I don't even think it's that subconsciously. I think consciously they sabotage it to prove to themselves they're shit at it, which either gets them off the hook. I don't have to do that. I can't do that anymore. I'm shit at it, right? I had this conversation with someone the other day. They were asking me to do something. And I said, yeah, because I'm the only fucking person that can figure this out, right? Like, I'm the only person who has the mental capacity to learn a new skill. Go and learn how to do it. Just learn how to do it. Don't half-ass it and then go, I told you I was no good at that. Oh, yay for you. Best off just to go to bed and wrap yourself up in a fucking blanket and turn the light off for the rest of your life, right?
Yeah.
Good on you. There's zero personal growth where you're at. Just
how
learn.
Is that serving you? Like, how is that going to help you?
It's not. Learn. Go and figure it out. Yeah. Get on Google. Fuck it up. Make a mistake. Try it again. Watch a YouTube video. Ask ChatGPT. Actually, ask Claude. Ring Simon Kelly. Ask him. Ring a friend. Phone a friend. Flip a coin. Try something. Just do shit, right? Stop overthinking it and stop thinking that you're crap at it before you start, right? The example I always give is it's almost impossible to behave incongruently with your beliefs.
Yeah.
Which is why my challenge for anyone listening to this, by the way, don't get yourself arrested because it's not my fault if you do, but my challenge is to walk into a very busy intersection in the middle of the CBD and wet your pants in public, right? Now, just think about that for a second. How many psychological barriers would you have to overcome to walk into the middle of Times Square or walk into the middle of Fed Square here in Melbourne or walk in the middle of Hyde Park in Sydney and just wet your pants, right? One of two things is going to happen. One, most people are probably going to think you're a homeless person, and I don't say that with any disrespect, but that's probably what most people are going to think, right? And they'll probably ignore you. Or some people might even look at you and be disgusted. And that is going to reinforce your belief that we don't do that. Your belief is that we don't urinate in our pants in public because if we did, we would be ostracized from the tribe. And so the actions and the results that you will receive as a result of that behavior will reinforce the belief. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. I feel bad about myself. I've embarrassed myself. People looked at me with sympathy and disgust, and that wasn't a good choice, right? So the behavior will reinforce the belief. So here's an idea. Why don't we try something that reinforces a belief that we know to be true, but we just haven't got any behavioral evidence to prove it? Like, I'm fucking awesome. I am world class at this. Go and do something to prove to yourself and the rest of the world that you are world class at it.
Why not? Because otherwise, what are you left with? You're left with the default.
Mate,
And the default, unfortunately, without psychology, is not amazing. It's like
it's fucking horrible. It's
what is
trauma.
it? Avoid pain, seek pleasure, maintain status quo. The motivational
Right.
triad.
Yeah.
So
there
we're
you
just
go.
gonna just regress into nothingness and not push
That's right.
ourselves. Avoid
right.
pain. Cool. Just sit
Right.
inside. Do the work I'm comfortable with. Turn off the lights. Chuck on some porn, and we're good. It's like,
Pretty much. And
come on, step up.
Right. And mate, I'm telling you, the older you get, when you're 16 years old, you believe you can change the world, right? There is this, you just have, I mean, I did anyway. When I was 16 years old, I'm fucking young and I'm take on the world, man. The world is mine, right? And then you kind of get to your mid to late 20s and you realize that you've been sold a lie. I remember watching Fight Club in my mid 20s, and there's one line in Fight Club that just, it hit me like I couldn't breathe when Tyler Durden says, and I don't mean to genderize it, but when Tyler Durden says, we're a generation of boys raised by women, and we were told that we could be anything, and we've just figured out it's a lie. We're not all film stars. We're not all rock stars. We're going to fucking pay the bills. We're going to man up. We're going to take responsibility, right? And no one ever told us that we had to do that. And we're fucking pissed off about it. And I remember going, I couldn't speak. It was had such a profound impact on me.
Wow.
Because that was the moment I realized that just believing you could change the world doesn't mean you're going to change the world, that you are not a unique and beautiful snowflake, that you're just a piece of bacteria floating around on the planet and for a very short period of time and you'll die and the sun will swallow the earth and nothing really fucking matters anyway, right? But the older you get, the harder it is to maintain that energy that I can change the world. It gets harder, right? I was thinking about this morning. It's like, I would love to be 16 again, just for a day, just to have that self-belief that you can do anything. Because as you get older, you realize life knocks you around, right? You get your armors kinked and you get injured and you psychologically and emotionally and physically, you start to break down, right? And you realize it just takes more energy. You have to be more conscious and more intentional about what it is you want to achieve. And the alternative is what you said, is you just coast. You coast into fucking oblivion.
Because
unfortunately,
coasting regresses. Unfortunately, like gravity wants you. It's going to take you.
Right.
It just goes down and down.
What do you do?
Down.
I mean, you're on a skateboard. What do you do on a skateboard?
Put on my rollerblades. That's what I do.
You kick, push, coast, right?
Yeah.
But eventually, you got to kick again, don't you? Because if you just coast, you just stop.
Mm-hmm.
The skateboard stops because momentum stops. You got to kick again, right?
You got to keep
so
pushing.
Anyway, I don't know if any of this is helpful to anyone listening, but I think I just think people are. It's a very anxious world that we're living in at the moment for a whole bunch of reasons. But there's a lot of anxiety around at the moment. There's a lot of fear. People are, very obviously at this high level event, and you can just feel it in the room. There's just 150 entrepreneurs there, and a lot of people are very interesting stat. It's about 150 people in the room, and I said, "Who's doing 7 figures a year in revenue, selling high level as a SaaS with no additional services?" and not talking to any customers? And 2 people put their hand up. 2 out of 150, right? So, and then I said, who wants that? And everyone put their hand up. I said, guys,
Did you burst
you're
the bubble? How did you?
you're living in a fucking dream. Like there's 2 here out of 150, right? That's 1.5%. You have a 1.5% chance, even if you go and do exactly what these 2 people have done, you have a 1.5% chance of success. They are fucking horrible odds. But you're still all chasing it, aren't you? What are you doing? It's like self-torture.
Did you get a chance to talk to those 2?
No.
Might be distracting from the topic, but the story from them, I would imagine, I'll totally make this up because you didn't talk to them, so that makes it easy, is that like it was fucking hard, and it is still hard. And so like the reality of it, I think the dream is always much more exciting than the reality. Like the one that got away, that you're like, oh, like I love to imagine that. Well, it's better that you imagine, because if it was realized, it'd probably not be any good. So keep that in your imagination.
It's way better in your imagination.
Yeah,
like
way
your
better.
your
Keep that there,
imagination
please.
is everything is better or worse or scarier or funnier in your imagination, right?
Yeah. There was sorry, go on.
No, nothing.
There's something else, some book from Steve Chandler or something that I was reading, and there was a little chapter. It's just like little chapters of little stories. And he's like, there's the story of this guy. He's insane. He's in an insane asylum, and he gets up every morning and he gets a blank sheet of paper and he draws a monster on it and then screams at it and then runs out the room. Like that would look crazy, but we do that in our minds all the time. We're like, oh my God. Like either which way. Sometimes we'll dream something amazing, like, wow, what if? Other times we're like, oh, that's horrible. We're like, you made it up. Like you made it up and now you believe it. And now you're being as if that's really hard. Like what the hell is going on? You are crazy.
Totally. Yeah.
Powerful thing.
Billie Jean was there the day before me. I didn't see his talk. I tend not to go to these things unless I'm actually speaking. So I just kind of went into the room, did my talk, and then got out of there. I don't kind of hang around and do all the other stuff because I find it exhausting, frankly. And I say that with all respect. And I think I've been to hundreds of these conferences over the years, as you know, and I think they're all fantastic and very beneficial. But I just can't do it anymore. I just have the energy just completely saps me of energy, right? You just end up people, you have 100 people telling you their life story and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, I love you all, but just leave me alone. Give me some space. Anyway, Billie Jean the day before apparently did this exercise where he was like, I'm going to show you how to do something and then you're going to do it. And so he drew a kangaroo on a whiteboard, right? Or he put this video up about how to draw a kangaroo on the screen. That's right. He put a video up. So how to draw a kangaroo. He's like, now everyone do it. Everyone draw the kangaroo, right? And it's like, everyone's kangaroo was fucking horrible. Everyone's kangaroo was horrible. I think the point he was trying to make is like, it doesn't matter if people show you how to do things. When you do something for the first time, particularly if it's not something that you wanted to do, you're going to suck at it, right? So just like let yourself off the hook and also realize that just because this person is good at drawing kangaroos and shows you exactly how to draw the kangaroo, they've been doing this a long time. That's why they're teaching you how to do it. So you can't just go and replicate what someone else has done and expect to get results in 3 weeks, right? It's what I learnt at the summit, and a big part of this was hanging out with Nick on Monday night, is, man, focus and consistency is everything. I cannot stress that enough. Focus and consistency is everything. Like if you're not playing the long game, you may as well just quit now, right? And leverage. If you don't have leverage in your business model, you're on a hamster wheel. They were the big takeaways from me and as I said, I didn't even attend any of the presentations, but just hearing what people were saying in the hallways, and that's the big takeaway. So anyway, Claude AI, come up with your ideal team member profile, and then use that to write job ads, use that to put out content to attract the right talent to your organization, and also do the same for your ideal client profile and use that for your marketing messages.
Yeah, and the SOP for the kangaroo drawing from Troy Dean will be coming out shortly.
Absolutely.
Keep an eye out for that.
Yeah,
all right, mate. Well, it's been a pleasure.
Fun. I feel like this has turned into a philosophical podcast.
Getting deep.
Frankly, man, I would be more than happy for this thing to pivot into talking about philosophy and less about the how-to, because, as we were saying, like if you don't have the right beliefs and the right thinking and the right mindset, The how-to is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Doesn't
and
matter.
The how-to is it's out there. It's already there.
Oh,
That's not the
so
problem.
easy.
If the
So easy.
how-to was the problem, then the internet would have solved everyone's issues.
Correct.
A single book would solve all your issues. But if you're not focused, as you're saying, you're not focused and you're not consistent and you're not applying things with leverage, then you're just going to keep consuming another course. It must be a different kangaroo drawing video that I need to watch.
Yep. Or another plugin. Got to buy another plugin. You know, it's going to solve everything. Yeah, that's right. That's
Shortcuts are not the answer. All right, mate.
It's the noise between your ears. All right, good on you, Simon Kelly. Thanks for joining us on the Agency Hour. We'll do it again soon.
All right. It's been a pleasure. Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you, brother. Ciao. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Agency Hour podcast, and a massive thanks to Simon for joining us once again. If you'd like to join us live for our agency workshops like the one I mentioned in this podcast, we go live every week to teach one of the 81 ways that you can use to scale your agency in 2025, and it's only $1 to get started. Okay, folks, remember to subscribe and please share this with anyone you think may need to hear it, and we'll leave a link to our workshop and community near this podcast so you can join us. I'm Troy Dean, and remember, chainsaws were first invented for childbirth. Is that true? Wow.